So we'll start our discussion today, as we do in every session, with some bhajan, some small kirtan. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Generally we do kirtan, we sing twice every line. The first time the lead singer will sing, and second time when we sing the same thing, the audience also has to follow. That's called Sankirtan. Sankirtan is more powerful than Kirtan. It attracts the attention of the Lord. We are in the temple, let's not miss this opportunity to do Sankirtan. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhav Kunj Bihari Gopijan Vallabh Girivardhari. Jaya Radha Madhav Kunj Bihari Gopijan Vallabh Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Ram Ram. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. So welcome everybody to this session where we discuss the thematic application of the Bhagavad-Gita. Am I audible to everybody here? Okay. Those who are online, can you hear me?
Yes.
Are you able to hear me? If you are able to hear me, please can you raise your hand and give confirmation? 3 people are telling they can hear. Okay, thank you. So are you also able to see the screen here, both online? Okay, so we'll start. The topic for today's session is quite interesting. It's called as the rituals and the actual purpose behind them. Why do we do these rituals? Often we forget it. We are very much interested in doing something. When we do Aarti, we like to take the lamp and then we think, oh, in Haridwar, they take a lamp which has 64 fire wicks in it. I want to do that. But why do they use 64? Why do you use 5? Why are you simply rotating it? What's the purpose? So these are things which we should ask sometimes. Why do you blow the conch? Why do you offer obeisances? Why do you chant Hare Krishna? These questions we have to ask. So for that purpose only, we want to discuss or especially have a session. What is ritual? How it becomes spiritual? This is the discussion for today. And like all the other sessions, this session is dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He is my spiritual grandfather. And everything which we are trying to do is simply an effort to please them. If we can please the acharyas, if we can please the Lord, or at least if we can do something with a desire to please them, then our life is successful. Spiritual life is especially not meant for ambition or choices. Spiritual life is not specially about doing what you like. Rather, spiritual life is about doing what you should do, or maybe doing what Krishna has ordered us to do in the Bhagavad-Gita. So Krishna has always told us that the secret of success in spiritual life is the pleasure of your teacher or spiritual master, guide, authority, whatever. So I'm trying to dedicate this session praying to the acharyas that they may get pleased, because if they get pleased, that means Radha and Krishna are pleased. And in order to seek their blessings, and in order to request them to be pleased with this insignificant endeavor, I will chant some pranam mantras. Those who know, they can repeat with me. Those who don't, they can try to hear it very sincerely and attentively. Try to memorize it as soon as possible. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सह गणललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. So the agenda for today is what is the definition of bhakti? Religion versus spirituality. Is there a difference? Or does religion only mean spirituality? We do various rituals. What is their meaning? And then what is the central object of bhakti? And if time permits, in this session, we'll also cover the practical tip of the day, which will make our life happy. So starting with definition of bhakti. Before I start, let me ask you some question. What is bhakti? What do you think? Whatever comes to your mind, you can just, both physically as well as online, whoever is there, can try to answer. What is bhakti? भक्ति का अर्थ क्या है? Always trying to remember the Supreme Lord is bhakti. Very good. Trying to please Krishna is bhakti. Sir under the lotus feet of Krishna, that is surrender. That's also bhakti, yes. Online, I can see, okay, Tanvi Mehta Mataji is telling to serve and love Krishna. Usha Venkateshwaran Mataji is telling realization of the power above us. Okay. Somebody has answered bhakti means devotion. Very smart answer. But any other answer? Here, anybody else? Submitting to Krishna, that's surrendering to Krishna. Yes. Any more? Process that helps to revive our or rekindle our relationship with Krishna. Very good. How many of you want to say that Krishna? Okay. Dhana Lakshmi, you want to say something? I can unmute you. What do you want to say? You've raised your hand. Okay. Avinash Sarangi is telling surrender and love. That is bhakti. Okay, let's see what definitions we have collected here in the presentation. So throughout the Bhagavad-Gita, there can be actually just like we had the Gita Sar seminar, there can be a seminar called Bhakti throughout Gita. How each and every chapter of Bhagavad-Gita has very nice elements of bhakti. Even though if the chapter is Dhyan Yoga or Karma Yoga, still it has elements of bhakti in it. So just trying to pick up some sections or some simple definitions of bhakti. We can start this with this 5th chapter. So I will repeat this. All of you can also repeat with me. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. Who would like to read the translation? You want to read? Balmay Mathur. Thank you. So a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be what? Ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities. That is Bhoktaram. So whatever we do in spiritual life, either it's an act of pleasing God, that is sacrifice, or it is some kind of tapasya which we are taking, trying to reduce our sense gratification, so that we have more space in our mind for spiritual activities. That's called austerities. So the ultimate beneficiary, that means the ultimate person who enjoys the results of all the sacrifices and austerities, that is Krishna, Bhoktaram. Yajna tapasam, okay? Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, he is the supreme lord of all planets and demigods. The word loka means a place where there is some kind of inhabitant. We call Surya Lok. So by that only we can understand that there are inhabitants on the sun planet. Their bodily constitution may not be the same as that of the earthly planetary people, but there are people living on the sun planet also. So otherwise, how is it possible that a person called Vivaswan comes all the way from the sun planet, makes someone called Kunti pregnant, and she gives birth to Karna, and still we say no one resides on the sun? But what more proof we need? Even in the Krishna Leela, in the 10th canto, we have a person who has received a locket from Vivaswan, and he wears that and comes to Dwarka, and everybody starts thinking that he is Krishna, he is Surya. So like that, there are various references all throughout the scriptures. And Krishna also says in the Bhagavad-Gita, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam. So first he told it to Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. Like that, the science of Bhagavad-Gita has been propagated. So Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. Krishna is not only the owner of this earthly planetary system, but he is the owner of sun, moon, Janlok, Taplok, Maharlok, Swarglok, Brahmalok, all the planetary systems in this universe. And then there are millions and billions of such universe. He is the owner of that also. And then he is the owner of all the spiritual world also and all the material worlds also. Sarvalok Maheshwara. And he is the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna is not the benefactor and well-wisher of only Hindus or Indians. He is the benefactor of everybody. Not just the benefactor of human beings. He is the benefactor of the chicken also. The fish also. He is the benefactor of the egg also. He is the benefactor of everybody. So, one who understands this point, that he is Bhoktaram of Yajna Tapasam, everything, he is Sarvalok Maheshwaram. And he is my best well-wishing friend also. One who understands these 3 points, Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. He attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So this is called as the peace formula. Simply understand that whatever I do, the results of that is not owned by me. It is owned by Krishna. Whatever I see around is owned by Krishna. He is the most powerful person. And guess what? He is my best well-wishing friend also. If you can understand these 3 points and make peace with it, Shantim Richati. For the rest of eternity, you are peaceful. So this formula is called as the peace formula of Bhagavad-Gita. And this is also the root of bhakti. Until unless you understand this point, you cannot render devotional service. So that's why I brought this first. Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvalok Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Santim Richati. If you cannot accept these 3 points, always you'll be in anxiety. Always you'll be lamenting or you'll be hankering. You can never be happy. But if you can understand these 3 points and make peace with it, then you are peaceful for the rest of eternity. So just to revise this, whom does everything belong to? Let me just finish this question. Whom does everything belong to? All the sacrifices, austerities which we do, it belongs to? All the spiritual worlds and the material worlds, they belong to? Who is our best well-wishing friend? Are you sure? How many of you think that my dog is my best well-wishing friend? How many of you think that, I mean, no offense intended, but how many of you think your spouse is your best well-wishing friend? How many of you think that your boss is your best well-wishing friend? Only Krishna can be your best well-wishing friend. Everything changes over a period of time. With every life, with every birth, everything will change. But your relationship with Krishna is eternal. And Krishna's relationship with you is unmotivated, uninterrupted, unconditional. How many of you have unconditional relationships in your life? Nobody. In all relationships, there is some condition. When I was a small child, I wanted a video game. My father gave a condition that for 3 days, everything which I say, you have to follow. I agreed for that. And 3 days, he had fun. And when I obeyed everything which he told for 3 days, I got the video game. So that is the condition. So no relationship is unconditional in this material world, but your relationship with Krishna is unconditional. Okay? Yes, there was a question coming up. First your name and then the question. And the question, please kindly, it should be related to the discussion which we have.
So, my name is Devashish Das.
Devashish Das. This is the first time you're coming? Very good. Welcome.
Krishna is also the owner of all karmas, right?
All?
Karmas.
No, karma is yours.
Karma is.
Yes. Krishna has told you in the Bhagavad-Gita what to do, what not to do. Now it's your choice whether you do it or not. He only wants you to live peacefully with him in the spiritual world. After telling everything, after telling the entire Bhagavad-Gita, if we choose not to follow it, then the consequences belong to us, not Krishna. Suppose you must be having some children, I am supposing. So you explain your child not to do this. But after one point of time, you have to give up because your child is also an independent living entity. You cannot force everything. So then what you will say, look, I have explained to you not to go and play in this rain, in the whatever, sun or rain. Now, if you still want to do, then you have to bear the consequences. You must have spoken like that. So it's like that. Bhagavad Gita deals with 5 subject matter: Ishvara, Prakriti, Jiva, Kala, and Karma. Out of this, Ishwar, Prakriti, Jiva, and Kal, they are eternal. Only Karma is temporary. Why? Because it belongs to us. And it keeps changing. What karma we do, it's up to us. Krishna can give us guidance. He can inspire us as the Paramatma from within. He can tell us what to do, what not to do in the Bhagavad Gita. But he cannot take away the free will from us. So free will is ours. Even after knowing everything, if I'm continuing to do something which Krishna doesn't want, then the result of that karma doesn't belong to Krishna. It belongs to me. I have to suffer. But even when I'm suffering, Krishna doesn't leave us. He's there as Paramatma in our heart still. He never leaves us. He never tells us you're an offender, you're a criminal, you have rebelled against the laws of nature and the laws of God. Go and live eternally in the hell. Krishna doesn't say like that. Even if we go to hell, he is still as Paramatma there with us and experiencing, understanding and feeling what we are going through. His love is beyond our imagination. Okay? Does this answer your question? Okay. We'll continue. Yes. Generally, I take questions in the end, but we'll take, because I took one. So first your name and then the question. You can sit down and speak. Jai Lakshmi. Yes. Okay. Correct. Comparison? Yes. Please sit down. Thank you. Are you a mother? I have to be careful in answering. Personally, le lenge Mataji. Please don't take it personally. But the scriptures say that the amount of love, care, affection, attachment which a mother feels for a newborn baby after seeing it for the first time, you multiply that love and affection 1 billion times. That is the affection of Krishna towards the living entity. Millions and billions of mothers cannot equal the love of Krishna. We get this reference. This is the statement of the mother of Dhruv Maharaj, Suniti. When Dhruva was insulted by his stepmother, he came crying to his own mother, Suniti, and Suniti made this statement: "I am just your mother. What can I do for you? Your real mother is Krishna. And I am your mother in this lifetime. Somebody else was your mother in another lifetime, and somebody else will be your mother in another lifetime. Which mother loved you more and which mother loved you less? But there was one person who was always there with you. That is Krishna. That is why they say, Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu Chasakha Tvameva." So Krishna is everything. He is our mother, he is our father, he is our friend, he is our brother, teacher, constant companion. That's why it is said, Suhradam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the best well-wisher. Sometimes we feel that mother is definitely our best well-wisher. But I can give you some examples where mothers are also not the best well-wisher. I had a friend, he was a devotee, very nice, sincere devotee. And he had a practice of morning program, sadhana. So he used to wake up at 3:45 and do that. 4:30 he used to worship his deities and chant, do the mantra meditation, and then read Bhagavad-Gita like that. His mother was doing the same. But when he used to go home, his mother used to feel, "My dear son, he wakes up so early. Let him sleep." So mother herself was getting up and doing everything, but she was not letting the son wake up till 6 a.m. It's not that she did not understand the value of spiritual life. She herself was doing it. She was also a devotee. But she spoiled the spiritual life of the son in the name of love. Let him sleep a little bit more. So is the mother the best well-wisher in this case? No. Of course, normal society will not agree. They will say, "Oh yeah, that is love. Sleep nicely, eat nicely, mate nicely, defend nicely. That is mother's love." But that is not the purpose of life. So mother is not the best well-wisher. She is one of the long-lasting well-wishers, but not the best. Mother cannot do those things which is really good for the child out of attachment. Can you send your 5-year-old child into forest? The mother of Dhruv Maharaj did that. But we don't have many such mothers. So sometimes this attachment towards the child disqualifies one to be the best well-wisher. Do you follow? So in that way, mother is also not the best. Very strong discussions we have in Gita course. I don't know why. I hope you have taken it in the right mood, Mataji. Moving on. So that's why I always say that if everything belongs to God, then everything should be used in the service of God. This is bhakti. Everything belongs to God and everything should be used in the service of God. This is bhakti. Therefore, bhakti is common sense. How many of you agree that bhakti is common sense? If you agree with this formula. If you don't agree, don't raise your hand. Yeah, common sense is very less common. So bhakti means common sense. See, if you have, what can I say? If there is a car which you have purchased, then it should be used in your service. If the driver of your car starts feeling, "I am the driver. Let me decide when I will use it for my master." Is it normal? It's abnormal. Similarly, everything belongs to Krishna, we just proved through various verses. And with more verses, I'm going to prove. And doesn't it make sense to use everything in Krishna's service? If your driver runs away with your car, thinking that we'll use it. So I think parallel kids class is happening inside, right? Outside. So kids can be sent outside. So yeah, so it makes sense to use everything in the service of Krishna. Today in the youth session, I was giving this example that suppose you are in some company and you create some intellectual property there. You try to file a patent there. Whom will that patent belong to? Huh? To the company. If at that time you say, I worked for it, I came up with the idea, company will say, boss, I gave you the salary. I gave you the setup. I put you in that AC room. I gave you all the things which you needed. Now, how this patent belongs to you now? I own you and I own your patent also. So at that time we feel normal. That's how it is. But when it comes to Krishna, we feel, how can we give our results to Krishna? But when it comes to Krishna, we feel it's not normal. I'm working hard. I should enjoy the results. But I just give you an example. Even in day-to-day activity, we feel that everything belongs to the owner. But the real owner, Krishna, we don't want to give. Another example, if suppose a building is being constructed and the mason worker in the building starts thinking, from last 1 year, I have stayed near the building only. I have spent 10, 12 hours in the building only. I am the one who has made this building. This building belongs to me. Is this thought process proper? Whom does it belong to? The person who has supplied the raw material. So similarly, everything belongs to Krishna. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam. So therefore, bhakti is common sense. If everything belongs to Krishna, then everything should be used in Krishna's service. So this is, till this point, everybody is clear? What is bhakti? Just put it like this. Everything belongs to Krishna, so everything should be used in service of Krishna. This is called bhakti, and bhakti is common sense. If you cannot understand this point, then you can raise your hand now. Any disagreements, you can raise your hand now. Okay, if no, then I'll move forward. Now I'll give you another definition of bhakti, which is a little higher definition. Sarvopadhe vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam. First, let me read the translation. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So that is called bhakti. Now let me explain it to you step by step. Sarva Upadhi Vinirmuktam. What is Upadhi? Upadhi means what? Upadhi means I am a man, I am a woman, I am an Indian, I am an Australian, I am a German, I am a fair person, I am a dark person, I am an engineer, I am a chief minister, lawyer, I am a cat, I am a dog. These are designations. So bhakti means sarva upadhi vinirmuktam. That means first of all, you raise your consciousness above the bodily consciousness of life. Understand that you are not this body. So how to understand what is body consciousness? Just try to analyze. Suppose if you die now, with your death, all those things which cease to exist when you cease to exist is bodily. For example, you're thinking this money is yours, but when you die, you don't have claim to that money anymore. Similarly, you're thinking, I'm a big doctor, neurosurgeon, but when you die, you are no longer a neurosurgeon. So this is called bodily consciousness of life, temporary, related to the body. But is there something which is not related to the body, that is, which is yours even when you die? Think and say. Sorry? You said something. Whatever you said is right. What do you say? Karma. Karma doesn't die with you when you die. It will follow you like a witch. It will follow you from one lifetime to another lifetime. What is something else which doesn't die along with you, which goes with you in the next life also? Sorry? Shloka. So it is you, soul is you only. It is going with you means soul is going everywhere. So along with the soul, karma is. What else is there? Subtle body, yes. Subtle body means mind, intelligence, false ego. It doesn't die. When your body is burnt, your mind, intelligence, false ego doesn't get burnt. It is there with you in your next life also. Same mind, same intelligence, karma. And what about the activities which you do? That is sakarma, akarma, vikarma. So one of the activities is akarma, which means bhakti. So bhakti is eternal. I said karma is temporary. Did you remember? Now I'm saying karma goes from one life to another life. Am I confusing you? I'm not. Karma is actually temporary. If you start doing devotional service, then all your pap and all your punya are destroyed. Please take note that even if you are performing punya, you have to take birth to so-called enjoy the results of that punya. Suppose you have planted many trees, dug many wells, given away a lot in charity, did a lot of food distribution, opened some schools, etc. So these are pious activities. So to enjoy the result of these pious activities, you'll have to take birth again. And in that, you have to go through birth, you have to go through disease, you have to go through old age, and you'll be forced to die again. If you do some impious activities, again, you'll be forced to take birth. And same birth, that old age and disease will continue along with some other sufferings also. But the main thing is that you will never get freed from the cycle of birth and death until you do bhakti. Because when you do bhakti, your punya balance becomes zero and your pap balance becomes zero. And at the time of death, your account is clean and you can go back home, back to God. So karma is also temporary. Anybody who has done so many pious or impious activities, if they come once and offer obeisances to Krishna and show one ghee lamp to Krishna, millions of lifetimes of karma are destroyed. That's why I told karma is temporary. But bhakti is eternal. If you practiced Krishna consciousness and came up to 10%, then in your next life, you don't start from 0, you start from 11%. If you have practiced till 30%, then in your next life, you start from 31%. This cannot be spoken about karma. You do a lot of karma and you become a PhD scholar. In your next life, you'll start from double PhD. Where you start? 0. But bhakti that is not the case. Wherever you have left, from that point you will continue. So bhakti is eternal. So anything which ends with the body is temporary, and that can be called as an upadhi or a designation. So sarva bhakti means sarvopadhi vinirmuktam. First of all, get rid of this bodily consciousness of life. And then tat paratvena nirmalam. Then you become purified. How? Rishikena rishikesha sevanam. The word rishik means senses. And the word rishikesh means, literally speaking, master of senses. But whose name is Rishikesh? Krishna. Krishna is called Rishikesh. So this means that Krishna is the master of my senses and your senses and everybody's senses. And he gives pleasure to those senses. That's why he's called Govinda. So Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. Using my senses, I have to serve Krishna, who is the master of senses. That means if I have eyes, I should see the beautiful form of Krishna and not some naked form. If I have ears, then I should hear the names of Krishna and the pastimes of Krishna and not some gossip which my neighbor is doing. If I have a tongue, I should taste Krishna Prasad and not what that stupid pizza person is making. If I have the power of smelling, then I should offer some flowers to Krishna and smell it. If I have hands, I should use it for cleaning the temple of the Lord. If I have legs, I should use it for walking and going to the temple of the Lord. In this way, I should engage all my senses. If I have a mind, I have to think about Krishna. So Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So just to revise this, when you give up all bodily designations and use all your senses in the service of the master of senses, that is Krishna, then you become pure, and then that is called as bhakti. Just to make it very simple, use your senses in the service of Krishna and understand that you are not this body but the spirit soul. This is bhakti. Clear? Any disagreement, doubt? This is a very advanced definition, by the way. Sarvupadhi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmanam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Okay. Next, I want to discuss, now that I have discussed what is bhakti, let me discuss what is religion and what is spirituality. Let's talk about religion first. Whenever we say dharma, people normally translate it to religion. However, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he translates, okay, I'm not sharing my screen. Let me share for the online people. So the general meaning is people translate dharma and religion as something which is synonymous, but that's not the case. Srila Prabhupada translates dharma as occupational duty that cannot be separated from us. Something which is intrinsic to you, something which you cannot give up, that is called dharma. I have given the example of salt, sugar, or maybe sugar and chilies here. So the dharma of sugar is to be sweet. If you eat any sugar which is not sweet, then you will say it is non-religious sugar or adharmic sweet. It cannot give up. If it gives up being sweet, then it will no longer be called as sugar. It is the occupational duty of sugar. It cannot be separated from sugar. It is the intrinsic characteristic of sugar that it is sweet. What is the dharma of chili? Sorry? To be spicy, to be hot. So similarly, we have to understand first who we are. If we translate religion as dharma, then religion can change also. Tomorrow somebody will meet me and offer me 7.5 lakhs and become some other religion. I'll see, okay, I have some shortage of money. Anyways, I'm not following this also, I'll not follow that also. Let me take the money and just change my social status. So I'll say today my religion is X, tomorrow after taking 7.5 lakhs, I don't know what the rate is going on these days. Whatever I take and I become a religion Y, then it defies the definition of dharma. Dharma is something which can never change. That's why it's called Sanatan. So today if I am a Hindu, tomorrow if I become a Christian, that means this whole changing thing does not represent dharma. So therefore I often say dharma doesn't mean Hindu, Christian, Sikh, Islam. All this is not dharma. Dharma, we have to understand. To understand dharma, first we need to understand who we are. So who am I? So this time from somebody from this side. Who am I? Who am I? Yes. I'm a spirit soul. Am I the body? Am I the mind? Am I the intelligence? Am I the soul? Yes. So I have to see what is the dharma of the spirit soul. Soul never changes. So therefore the dharma of spirit soul also should never change. And the dharma of spirit soul is the real dharma. Now what is the dharma of spirit soul? Jivera Swarup Hai Krishnera Nityadas. The original constitutional position of a spirit soul is that it is a loving servant of God. This is called dharma. This will never change. Whether you become a Hindu, whether you become a Muslim, whether you become a Christian, whether you become a Sikh, whether you become a man or a woman, cat or a dog, engineer dog, it will never change. This is dharma. So the original constitutional position of a living, of a spirit soul, is that it's a loving servant of God. If we don't come to this understanding, then our definition of religion is very bad. Now, people will say that everyone has their own faith and they believe in them. So, in that way, even an atheist will say, I have faith in this process, so I'm also religious. What is your religion? My religion is that communism is my religion. I have faith in communism. Marxism is my religion. I have faith in that. In that way, everybody is religious then. You see the flaw here? Religion doesn't mean bodily things. Religion means that which relates to the spirit soul. And the spirit soul is a loving servant of God. So whatever so-called social religion, social status which we have, we should see. But okay, I'm describing myself as a Hindu. How much lover of God I have become? How much I have tried to dedicate myself for the service of the Lord. If I have not done that, then whatever I'm doing, it's a cheating religion. Let's be honest. I'm calling myself such and such religious person, but how much lover of God have I become? How much I have started following the principles of Bhagavad-Gita? No, sir, I'm not doing anything. Oh, then I'm not a religious person. Okay, sir, I'll change my religion then. Okay, change kar lo. Who cares? But this is not Dharma. That's why we say that there is only one Dharma. That is Sanatan Dharma. Jivera Swarup hai Krishnera Nityadas. And anything which talks about this Sanatan Dharma is the actual Dharma. Okay? There is a very nice verse in Bhagavatam. Savaid pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje. Ahaitukya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Now many people will say, Prabhuji, there are various dharmas also. There is Desh Dharma, Kal Dharma, Patra Dharma, Family Dharma, Society Dharma, Apartment Community Dharma, Office Dharma, Cat Dharma, Dog Dharma. But Bhagavatam says, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo. Amongst all Dharma, which is the highest Dharma, Yato Bhaktir Adhokshaje. Rendering devotional service to Adhokshaja, Krishna, is the highest Dharma. If I'm very happy taking care of my family and thinking that the only reason why I exist is to maintain my family, after Jesus Christ, I'm the next selfless person. I have not done anything in my life for myself. Everything is for my family. Thank you, but we are very sorry. You have simply been cheated. That is not Dharma. Your Dharma, or the highest top priority Dharma, was to serve God. You didn't do that. You gave so many excuses. I'm a chief minister, I don't have time. I'm a family man, I don't have time. I'm a student, I don't have time. Okay, then one day when you will face time as death, that time you'll have to agree. Krishna says, Mrityu sarva haras chaham. I gave all my time to my studies, I gave all my time to my work, I gave all my time to my society, I gave all my time to my family, I gave all my time to my relatives, I gave all my time to my money, I gave all my time to my bad habits. One day Krishna will come as death and take away everything. That time we have to agree that, yeah, I should have given time to Krishna. That time we cannot deny. So only a madman denies rendering devotional service to God. Please forgive me if I'm sounding very harsh. But only a madman will deny the existence of God and will deny serving God. And no one cares for what a madman has to say. You keep saying whatever you want. We don't care. We only care for what the Bhagavad-Gita says, what the Acharyas say, and most importantly, what Krishna says. Okay? So keep all your society dharma, apartment dharma, office dharma, cat dharma, dog dharma aside and understand that your highest dharma is rendering devotional service to Krishna. And this dharma should be rendered ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. It should be done in an unconditional and unmotivated way. Not that I'm serving you, Krishna, but my son died of corona. So first of all, I'll burn the altar. I'll burn your photos. No. You cannot do business with Krishna. Unconditional and unmotivated. Not that when my health will become good, when my office project will become little peaceful, when my coaching institute will give me some holiday, then I will come for some devotional service. No. It should be unconditional, unmotivated. Then only yayatma suprasidati. Then only you will achieve complete satisfaction of the heart. The reason why we are not happy is because we are into conditioned, motivated relationships, and we are trying to get unsurpassed happiness from them, which is not coming. But when we get into an unconditional, unmotivated relationship with Krishna, which is our topmost priority, savai pumsam paro dharmo, then yayatma suprasidati. We get that kind of happiness, satisfaction, which we have been hankering from millions of lifetimes. So that is called dharma. Now, if you want to concoct it, give it names, change it in return of money, whatever you want, you keep doing, but you are actually cheating yourself. Dharma means this, Sanatana. Okay? Now, what is spirituality? We discussed what is dharma. Now, let's discuss what is spirituality. So, generally, anything that is little different from normal, people call it spiritual. Everybody wears the spectacles like this. If somebody takes the spectacles and puts it on the backhand side, they'll say it is something, kuch to hai, baat hai, spiritual hai. That which is not, this is the general tendency. You know, there are so many so-called channels which are running on the television. People think that 24/7, anything which comes on that channel is spiritual. But that is not the case. Knowing about Atma or actions pertaining to the spirit is called spiritual. I was saying a few slides earlier that everything belongs to Krishna and everything has to be used in Krishna's service. Krishna has actually, I said I'll give proof, I'm giving the proof now. Krishna says in the Bhagavad-Gita, in the 7th chapter, sloka number 4, he says, Bhumirapo analovayo khammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyam me bhinna prakritirashtadha. He says, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are my 8 separated material energies. Now, if you look around yourself, you only see these things or combination of these things. So when you see that everything which you see is either a combination of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, or is in its raw state. So Krishna says these are my energies. So therefore everything belongs to Krishna and everything has to be used in Krishna's service. So there are so many, I keep highlighting this point again and again. Some people don't like it. And they often catch hold of me in personal and they try to talk me out of this tendency which I have. But still I will continue. Krishna says earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, they are my separated material energies, not spiritual energies. And if there are some people or some organizations which only talk about peace of mind and they call themselves spiritual organizations, don't you think they are completely against Bhagavad-Gita? If any so-called spiritual organization is only talking about peace of mind, but mind is not spiritual, mind is not spirit soul, and you are not the mind, you are the spirit soul. So spirituality doesn't mean to practice something which will give you peace of mind. Please understand this. Peace of mind is a byproduct of spirituality. Spirituality means spirit soul. The 2nd chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, the discussions which Krishna is having with Arjuna, that is spirituality. Who are you? What is this body? How you keep changing this body? What is transmigration of soul? How you get a particular kind of body? What is karma? How it affects your next life? What should be your thought process at the time of death? This is called spiritual. I am a spirit soul and subject matter which is related to spirit soul is called spirituality. Subject matter which is related to peace of mind or the tickling of the intellectual resources which I have or which deals with the ego, that is not spiritual. In the next sloka, Krishna says, Apareyam itaspanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho prakrite yayidam dharyate jagat. Krishna says, besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine. Apareyam itaspanyam prakritim vidhi me param. What is that? Jiva bhuta mahabaho, which comprises the living entities, that is the Jivatmas, who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Yayadam dharyate jagat. So he clearly distinguishes material energy and spiritual energy. Mamai vamsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manaha shashthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Where Krishna says, Mamai vamsha, they are my amshas. Krishna doesn't say that earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego is my amsha. No, he says they are my separated material energies. But for Jivatma, spirit soul, all of us, he says, Mamai vamsha, they are my amshas. Mama eva, my only. Don't think that they are the amsha of some anybody else. Mama eva, Mamai vamsha, jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. All the living entities, not just human beings. You know, some people say human beings have a soul. Cow doesn't have a soul. So cut the cow and eat. There are some so-called religions and so-called sannyasis who talk like this. Saintly, so-called people in the renounced order of life, they prophesy, they come up with this philosophy that people are hungry, cut the cow and eat. Because human being has a soul. Animals have no soul. But Krishna says, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manaha Shashthani Indriyani. What is the problem of these living entities? They are struggling very hard with their six senses, which includes the mind. So, spirituality means to know about the spirit soul. Spirituality means to understand what is the dharma of the spirit soul. Spirituality means to understand how to come out of the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. Spirituality means to understand how to go back home, back to Godhead. Spirituality means how to render devotional service to Krishna. And a byproduct of all this is peace of mind. If any organization is simply focusing on peace of mind, it is not a spiritual organization, it's a pseudo-spiritual organization. Please try to understand. Something which is material cannot become spiritual. I am not saying this. Bhagavad-Gita chapter 7, sloka number 4, 5, and 6, Krishna is saying this. If you have a problem, go and talk to Krishna. I cannot take any questions on this. So, knowing about Atma is spirituality. And now let's understand what are the rituals. So, sometimes people swing towards knowledge, ignoring the rituals as sentiment. क्या ये सब बकवास इतना करने का क्या जरूरत है खत्म करो. And sometimes they swing towards rituals, ignoring the knowledge or the philosophy as dry speculation. I think all of us have experienced this. I'll give you an example, but before that I'll cover that neither of the extremes are bhakti. Bhakti means a balance of both. So I'll tell you two stories which will help you understand this point. One is a story which I've heard from my spiritual master, and one is the story which happened with me only. Which one do you want to hear first? Spiritual master, okay, I like that. So I heard a story from my spiritual master. He was telling that once a girl was getting married. But in the marriage, there was a cat which was creating a huge nuisance, jumping from here and there and spoiling things, licking things, and making noise here and there, frightening people. So she was getting married, and she saw that the mother of that girl released an order. She said, some people should go catch that cat and put a tokri or a basket kind of a thing on that cat so that the cat remains stable for a few hours. Actually, she did not clarify so much. She just said, some of you just go and catch the cat and put a basket on it. Why do you think she said that? So that the nuisance is stopped and the marriage can continue. Now, over a period of time, this girl who was getting married, she grew up and she had her own children. And it was time for her children to get married. And when her daughter was getting married, she all of a sudden remembered, oh, in my marriage, a cat was caught under a basket. So she released an order that two of you go find a cat from somewhere. Bring the cat here and put a basket on it. And until we do that, this marriage cannot continue. It will be apshagun. What did I speak about? This is the second case. We are swinging towards upon doing something, ignoring the philosophy behind it. Now I'll give you another example. I was going to my village and to attend a marriage function. And then there are so many things to do there. I'll not get into the details, but it was a lot of things which are being done. So I was asking my father, "Kya zarurat hai ye sab karne ka?" Ultimately, just get married, have a nice dinner and go home. What's the big deal? So at that time, my father told me that if you do not perform these activities, then you will not have any rasa. No sentiment will be there. After all, why do people get married in public and spend so much money? That is also one obligation. Ki bhai itna paisa kharch kiya hai. I have done it in front of so many people. I cannot get out of this relationship also. 10,000 people will ask me also, and the kharcha also will be too much next time. So that's the sentiment. Please understand and appreciate. If you do it in private, you can walk off any moment also. So my father explained to me that these things are necessary. So that time I understood the value of it. That you cannot ignore all the rituals as sentiment also, and you cannot simply be doing all the rituals without understanding the philosophy behind it. So therefore, now I'm going to make a statement which is for your notebooks. Philosophy without religion is mental speculation. And religion without philosophy is a sentiment. Please take note. Philosophy without religion is mental speculation. When I say religion, I mean Dharma. And religion without philosophy is a mere sentiment. Anybody who can understand and follow these two lines has understood the meaning of bhakti. Okay? One example which is coming to my mind is the wives of the Mathura Brahmins. It's a very well-known fact, a very nice pastime, comes in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Many of you may know, many of you may not know. Krishna and Balram, along with their cowherd friends, were playing near Mathura. And they felt hungry. And the Mathura Brahmins, they were performing a sacrifice. Now, whom is the sacrifice being performed for? Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Mahesham. It is meant for Krishna. Now, Krishna and Balram, the friends felt hungry. So Krishna told his friends that you go, here the Brahmins of Mathura, they are performing some sacrifice. You go and tell them that Krishna and Balram are here and they are feeling hungry, so give some food for us. So the boys went and told like that to the Brahmins. And you know what the Brahmins said? Now the sacrifice is not yet over, ask them to wait. Just see. We are chanting Hare Krishna for Krishna. We are offering bhoga to Krishna. And if Krishna comes and to eat, we'll say, no, let me finish the bhoga offering mantras first. And then you eat. This is called as being too much attached to the rituals. They did not give. They were doing the sacrifice for Krishna, but they did not give it to Krishna. But the wives of these Brahmanas, they were very intelligent. They could understand the purpose of all activities. Now it may be very common that the wife disagrees with the husband and just walks out. But 5,400 years ago, that was not the case. If a wife disagrees with the husband and walks out, that means she has no other place to go. She can't come back. But the wives of these Mathura Brahmins, what they did, they heard their husbands not giving. Actually, the boys again went, Krishna again sent, just to glorify the aspect of bhakti. Krishna sent these boys to the wives of the Brahmins. And the wives of the Brahmins, they stopped helping the husbands in the fire sacrifice without taking their permission. They took all the bhoga, all the nice food stuff, and without even asking their husbands, in a group, they went to the forest and stood in front of Krishna and Balram, and they offered everything. This is called bhakti. They didn't care for all these rituals. They didn't care for the fear of Kamsa. They didn't care for what their husbands will say. Their husbands have gone to Gurukul. They have done so much tapasya. They have practiced brahmacharya. They have done so much sacrifices, austerities, so much knowledge. What have these wives done? Nothing. They are just chaste, loyal wives. But even without studying the scriptures, the import of all Vedic literature was revealed in their heart. Why? Because they were devotees of Krishna. So the Brahmins, they were marveling at this fact that we have undergone so much training under a spiritual master, but we are just ritualistic. And look at our wives, they are acharyas. They have to teach us what is the essence of all Vedas. So this is a very good example that what is ritual and what is spiritual. So one who understands this knows the meaning of bhakti. And Krishna was laughing when these Mathura Brahmins were saying no, he was laughing. He's like, look at these Brahmins. They know the entire Vedic literature. But Vedeshcha sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. If after all your Vedic study, if you cannot understand that Krishna is the purpose by which you are reading the Vedas, by all the Vedas he is to be known, all your Vedic study is in vain. But even if you are illiterate, if you have implicit faith in Guru and Krishna, then even without studying the Vedas, all the import of the Vedic literature will be revealed to you in your heart. This is called bhakti. This is called Krishna consciousness. But this does not mean that you should not read the Bhagavad-Gita. Today we have set up a nice gift shop or a stall, as you can see. We have some nice Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna books, some Japmalas, and also some Hare Krishna nameplates to put on your door and remind you. So make your house Krishna conscious, take some nice Japmalas to chant, take some nice books, take some nice nameplates and put it everywhere. So I think we have become very clear about what is karma, what is jnana, what is bhakti, what is ritual, what is spiritual. Another meaning of bhakti means muktir hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthitihi. Everybody wants liberation. But what is real liberation? Muktir hitva anyatha rupam swarupena. When you get established in your own constitutional position, actually that is liberation. Liberation doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give up your body and get into a spiritual body, and in that spiritual form you associate with Krishna. Not that necessarily. Even while having this material body, if you start doing what you will ideally do as your constitutional position of being a servant of Krishna, swarupena vyavasthitihi, when you come in your swarupa of being an eternal servant of God, that act itself is liberation. Such people are called as Jivan Muktatmas. They don't need to die to become liberated. They are already liberated. In fact, for such people who have got into their constitutional position of being loving servants of Krishna, it is said that liberation or mukti is standing with folded hands at their door, eager to render some service to them. But they are too busy. They don't even want more liberation. Na janam, na dhanam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmane janmanishware, bhavatad bhaktirahaytuke tvai. So na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Such devotees, they say, I don't want money. I don't want fan followers. I don't want a beautiful wife or a beautiful husband. I don't even want to become a great scholar. Mama janmani janmanishware. I don't even want liberation. You keep giving me birth after birth. What do I want? I just want association of your devotees, and I want a facility to render devotional service to you. That's all. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadish kamaye, mama janmane janmanishware, bhavatad bhaktir ahaitukitvayi. And please help me. The bhakti which I want to do to you should be unconditional and unmotivated. I don't want to get into a business with you. This is called bhakti. I don't want money. I don't want fan followers. I don't want a beautiful wife. I don't want to become a great scholar and write great poetry. I don't even want liberation from the cycle of birth and death. You give me as many births as you want, but in every birth you give me two things: association of your devotees and an attitude in which I am rendering unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service to you. This is another definition of bhakti. Do you like this? When you hear this, the Paramatma in your heart, doesn't it tell you, yes, this is it? Is it not telling? Are you ignoring? Some people are ignoring. But don't ignore. Whenever you hear these eternal truths, Paramatma within tells you, this is it. And you have to do it. But then there is so much Maya around us. It tells us, why do you want to do this? Go on Netflix. That's better. You had a question. If it is related to the discussion.
So, before Krishna came to us, so all the Sanatana Dharma also was there, right? Since the beginning, we don't know. So, everybody performs the rituals, right? So, that time, so how did they call Krishna? Because
Krishna didn't come when Krishna advented on earth to do his pastimes 5,200 years ago. That doesn't mean that before that Krishna was unknown. You read the Vedic literature, even when Krishna has not come in this Yuga cycle, still people are chanting the names of Krishna. Krishna.
Or some other form of Krishna.
No, Krishna only. If you read the Vedic literatures properly, Brahma, in the beginning of his lifespan, you know the lifespan of Brahma, did you attend the time session which I took? No. So the lifespan of Brahma is inconceivable. One Kali Yuga is of 4,32,000 years. Double of one Kali Yuga is one Dwapar Yuga. Triple of Kali Yuga is one Treta Yuga, and 4 times Kali Yuga is one Satyuga. So Satyuga, Treta, Dwapar and Kali combination is called Divya Yuga. In one day of Brahma, there are 1,000 Divya Yugas. And Brahma lives for 100 years, which includes 12 days, 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. So when Brahma was created in the beginning of the creation from the lotus navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, at that time Brahma wrote a poem called Brahma Samhita. And the first opening line of that poem is Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So Krishna is not that, of course, Krishna descends. In fact, there is a schedule also. Once in a day of Brahma, in the 28th cycle of the Chaturyugas, Krishna descends. Once in a day of Brahma, if there are 1,000 Divya Yoga cycles, then in the 28th cycle, in 1,000 Divya Yoga cycles, in every day of Brahma, Krishna descends once. So Krishna descends in every day of Brahma. It is not like before Krishna had descended, Krishna was not there. Please understand, before, it is not that Narsimha Dev came only to protect Prahlad, and before Prahlad was in so much danger, Narsimha Dev was non-existent. No. Even before Prahlad, Narsimha Dev was existing in one Vaikuntha planets, eternally performing his pastimes. Please understand this point. Varahadev is an eternal personality. Vaman Dev is an eternal, it's not like when Bali came, then Vaman Dev came. No. Even when Bali was not there, the Vaman Dev was there in his own, every incarnation of Krishna has its own planet in Vaikuntha, and eternally their pastimes are going on. So Krishna is eternal. Even when nothing was there, Krishna was there. Now Krishna is there, and even in future when nothing else will be there, he'll be there. Do you follow? That's why it's Sanatan. That's why Brahma Samhita Krishna says Ishvara Paramaha Krishna. There are other details to it which I can take later. Okay. So ritual becomes spiritual. How? Let's try to understand. When the purpose is to serve the Lord, ritual becomes spiritual. But when the purpose is to serve my ego, then it becomes a ritual. I am performing Aarti very nicely. But while performing the Aarti, I am thinking everybody should see my hand movements. It should look very nice. And when I am performing my Aarti, my dhoti should be proper. And when I am performing my Aarti, I should look like I am in trance, so that everybody should think that I am a pure devotee of Krishna. And while performing my Aarti, the conch which I blow should be in a very stylish way. It should be, this is called ritual. We have forgotten the central purpose only. So when we are doing, that's why in the beginning of every session, I try to remind myself that this session is not meant for, having some nice question and answers, or not meant for debating, or not meant for showing off. See, look at me, how much knowledge I have. This session is simply meant for pleasing Srila Prabhupada, pleasing the Acharyas. No matter what circus we do here, if it pleases to them, that is our success. But no matter what so-called great work we do here, if it is not pleasing them, then it's a ritual. Please understand this point. If I am doing some so-called activity, dharmic activity, but I have forgotten Krishna, then it is ritual. But if I am remembering Krishna, the moment I remember Krishna, that dharmic activity, not adharmic, that dharmic activity becomes spiritual. That's why I mentioned dharmic, not that I'm eating chicken and I'm remembering Krishna. Wow, this is spiritual. That cannot happen. Mach bhat cannot become spiritual at any point of time. So, when the purpose is to serve the Lord, ritual becomes spiritual. So, simply add Krishna to everything, it becomes spiritual. But if you forget Krishna, it is a ritual. You may be doing deity worship, or you may be chanting the holy names of the Lord, but while chanting, you're thinking how to handle that issue in office, how to answer back to your spouse, how to take care of this engagement which is there. Like full day's planning has gone and happened during the chanting. Then it is just a ritual. You stop chanting better. Go and sleep. But if you try to remember Krishna, then it is spiritual. Okay? Now many people say spiritual, when they worship various demigods, it's all ritual. For example, this, I'll just give example. Nobody should feel offended. As a teacher, I'm trying to explain. This Ganapati worship which is happening, do you think it's spiritual? I don't think so. I'll tell you how. They'll bring one idol of Ganapati or deity of Ganapati somewhere. Now, Ganapati is a great devotee of Krishna, especially Lord Narasimha. Ganapati gets his ability to be the Vigna Harta by worshipping one of the incarnations of Krishna, that is Narasimha. Do you think Ganapati will eat anything which is not offered to Krishna? No. Whilst worshipping Ganapati, do these people go and offer the bhoga to first Krishna and then bring to Ganapati? No. Simply they will offer. They don't know how to offer also, simply they will offer. Who is taking it? We don't know. And what do you think Ganapati likes to hear? He likes to hear glorification of Krishna. But what do they play? Bollywood songs, Hollywood songs. They'll dance like this, like this. They'll tie a strap on their head, and what they will sing? Deva ho Deva, Ganapati Deva, tumse badkar kaun, aur tumhare bhakton mein humse badkar kaun. Do you think this is bhakti? I'm just giving you an example. That's why I generally recommend don't eat food which is offered in such festivals. We don't know whether it is Bhoot Prasad or some ghost prasad, or who has accepted that, we don't know. And with what consciousness all that is being made? Simply to do some show off. I've also done that in the past, what to speak of others. I used to make a gang of my friends during Saraswati Puja. And I used to force everybody to give 500 rupees. I used to just go and write the person's name and cut 500 and throw the slip in their house. Kal aa jayenge, keep the money ready. I have done all that in my childhood. Do you think Mother Saraswati accepted any of my offerings? No, I simply had wasted my time, that's all. So, when Krishna is forgotten, everything becomes a ritual. I repeat, even if you do not remember Krishna, only if you remember the demigod, like you are only remembering Saraswati, you are only remembering Kali or Durga or Shiva, but if you are not remembering Krishna, still it is a ritual. It is not spiritual. Refer to 7th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, Shloka 20, 21, 22, and 9th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, Shloka 23, 24, and 25. You will come to know how demigod worship is not spiritual. It's a ritual. Because you have forgotten Krishna. Who says this? Krishna says this. If you have a problem, talk to Krishna. Don't ask me. Jagannath is Krishna. So worshipping Jagannath is spiritual. Worship him as much as you want. So sometimes people think spiritual means Shanti. Everything should be peaceful. That is spiritual. Generally, people, when they enter the peaceful environment, they say, oh, this place is so spiritual, man. But actually, spiritual life has got nothing to do with silence also. I'll prove you. For many, temple means a calm and a peaceful place for meditation. But bhakti is not aiming at Shanti. It is aiming at Ananda or supreme bliss. In the Bhagavad-Gita 9th chapter, Shloka number 14, Krishna has said, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavratah. What does Satatam kirtayanto mam means? Satatam kirtan, always doing kirtan. What are the activities of my devotees? Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavratah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Devotees of Krishna are always chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. And they are always doing this kirtan. And they are getting ananda and they are getting bliss. But they will irritate those people who are behind Shanti. And they are thinking Shanti is spiritual. God knows who is this Shanti. Where is this Shanti? So Shanti also does not mean spirituality. You see how spiritual life is completely misunderstood. They say peace of mind is spirituality. Shanti is spirituality. But I'm just trying to bust all the misconceptions today. You may find Krishna in the loudest place of this universe also, where constant kirtan is going on. That's why Krishna tells to Narad Muni in the Padma Purana, Naham tisthami vaikunthe yoginam hridayeshu va tatra tisthami narada yatra gayanti madbhakta. He says, I do not reside in Vaikuntha, my dear Narad. Nor do I reside in the hearts of those yogis who are constantly meditating upon me. Where do I reside? Wherever my devotees are constantly singing and dancing to my holy names, Yatra gayanti madhur bhakta, tatra tisthami narada. There only you will find me. That is why you never see Krishna alone. Any photo of Krishna, have you seen Krishna alone? Never. Always with his devotees or the cows or the gopas or the gopis or his mother or his father. And wherever there is Krishna, there is Nitya Utsava. It's a constant celebration. That's why when Jagannath comes on the Rath Yatra, it's a festival. And because of that festival, we can be sure Jagannath is here. Imagine if Jagannath is coming out and nobody is dancing and nobody is offering and some 64 offerings are not coming, then what is it? It's not Jagannath Rath Yatra. Suppose you try to take out Jagannath on a thela. It is not Jagannath Rath Yatra. So Krishna means he's always surrounded by his devotees. Now, if you think that I love Krishna, but I don't like this devotee of Krishna, you're finished. You can never achieve Krishna. If you think that I like Krishna, I love Krishna, I'm a devotee of Krishna, but this These cows I hate. Your game is over. If you cannot love Krishna, Krishna is literally telling you, love me, first you love my dog. You love me, first you love my devotees. You love me, first you get the cows. You love me, first you follow the Bhagavad-Gita. Then you can come to me. So there are many neophyte devotees who say that I love you, Krishna, but I don't want to associate with your devotees. Krishna says, wait for another 100 lifetimes in this material world, then we'll talk. There are so many pastimes which are also speaking about this. So Shanti also does not mean, why I have brought this topic, because sometimes wherever ISKCON temples are there, the neighbors, they complain that these people, they don't let us sleep also. 5 o'clock in the morning, they start chanting Hare Krishna. Why can't you sleep? Are Baba, Brahma Muhurta is not meant for sleeping. You are losing your long life, your wealth, your longevity, every good thing which you have, you are losing simply by sleeping in Brahma Muhurta. All your pious credits get destroyed if you sleep in Brahma Muhurta. We are trying to wake you up, Jeev Jago, and you are filing court case at us. It has happened. So I just want to show, they say that spiritual life means Shanti. See, we are also Adhyatmic people. Let us have some Shanti. But real Shanti is when your mind has become Shant. Real peace or real silence is when your mind has become silent. And mind's chatter, constant chatter, can be silenced only when it has been invested into the lotus feet of Krishna. Because the nature of the mind, please listen to me, something for your notebook and something for your thought process. The nature of the mind is to be always unsatisfied and unhappy in every situation. Agree or disagree? The nature of the mind is to always want something new and fresh every moment. Agree or disagree? Is there anything or anyone in this world who can give you something new, something fresh every moment? Krishna can give you. Why? Because the description of Krishna only, it says it is ever fresh, ever new, ever moment, Nityotsavam. It's a festival always. So this is supply and demand. The demand is, I want something ever fresh, ever new, every moment. So Krishna, his name, form, qualities and pastimes are ever fresh, ever new, every moment. So when you invest your mind, the chatter of the mind stops. That is real Shanti. And not like sleeping till 6 a.m. in the morning, 7 a.m. in the morning. That's not Shanti. Real Shanti means absorption. Just like a swan is always entangled in the lotus stems in a clear lake. Similarly, our mind should always be entangled in the name, form, qualities and pastimes of Krishna. That is called Shanti. There is no other Shanti anywhere. Okay? Question in the chat box online. We always start our prayers by offering our prayers to Ganesha. Is it not correct, Prabhuji? See, you try to find out whom Ganesha is offering his prayers to. Then you will get the answer. We are not saying you stop offering prayers to Krishna, Ganesha. We are just saying that if you offer prayers to Krishna, you don't need to offer prayers to anybody else. Because he's the boss. If you know the Prime Minister of India, why do you need to know others? Similarly, if you are offering prayers to Krishna, all the other demigods will be extremely satisfied with you. You don't need to offer prayers to anybody. That is the reality. Otherwise, why will Brahma say, why will Shiva say, why will Durga say, why will Kali say, why will Ganesha say, Ishvara Paramaha Krishna? Ishvara means controller, but they are saying Ishvara Parama. Amongst all controllers, the supreme controller is Krishna. Satchidananda Vigraha. He is not Nirakar Vigraha. He has a form. Satchidananda. Anadir Adir Govinda. Ganesha has taken birth. Ganesha will die. Ganesha will go through the cycle of birth and death. But have you heard that Krishna is taking birth or Krishna is dying? No, he just appears and disappears. Please try to understand. Even Brahma is going through the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. What to speak of Ganesha? But Krishna is not going through the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. Have you seen any photo of Krishna with white hair, very tired and old and worried? Have you seen? No. Because Krishna never gets old. Krishna never gets any disease. Krishna never takes birth. Krishna never dies. Just like the sun appears and disappears, But just because I can't see the sun, it doesn't mean that the sun is not there. Similarly, Krishna appears. There is a schedule, like I said, 28th Chatur Yuga cycle, Dwapar Yuga, he appears and then he disappears. But just because my physical eyes cannot see him right now does not mean that Krishna is dead or he's not there. Try to understand this point. So there's a huge difference between Ganesha and Krishna. And if you're the devotee of Krishna, you don't need to be a devotee of anybody else. This is called Bhagavad-Gita's knowledge. Otherwise, why will Krishna say in the Bhagavad-Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja? Abandon all varieties of religions and just surrender unto me. He didn't say that surrender unto me and Ganesha both. I'm sorry, I'm speaking very strongly, but I have to express the truth. Sarva dharman parityajya, abandon all varieties of religions and just surrender unto me. I shall give you freedom from all sinful reactions, do not worry. Ganesha cannot talk like this. Nobody can talk like this. So therefore, in the beginning of your prayers, you just offer prayer to Krishna. That is enough. However, if you don't have faith in Krishna, if your intelligence has been stolen away by material desires, then you have to say Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Otherwise, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. You have to say this and it is enough. And when you will sincerely chant, then one day you will see Ganesha next to you also chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So we'll end the session in the next 5 minutes. Is that okay? Organizers? Yeah? You have a question. I'll just take it. Give me 2 minutes. Is it okay? Organizing team? 5 minutes? Thank you. Nobody is independent except Krishna. Not even the teacher. So this is the verse. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha tridhavratah namaskyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Okay? So I'm just saying what all I have to cover. So I think I'll cover these things in the next session, the part 2. So we'll stop here with this definition of bhakti. Any questions or comments we'll take for the next 5 minutes. Then we have a couple of announcements. We'll make those announcements and then we'll have a final arti and then we'll have prasadam. That means everything will get wrapped up in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Is that fine with everybody? Okay? Yes. I've taken questions from you. I've take with you. Okay. So, see, different people understand things differently, but that doesn't change the truth. Krishna is God. Pandavas understood it, but Duryodhana didn't understand. Duryodhana never understood that Krishna is God. He just understood that Krishna is some great personality. But did that change the truth? Did that change the truth? No. Just because Duryodhana felt that Krishna is not God, did it become the reality? No, right? Krishna remained. He is God, whether Duryodhana understands or not. So similarly, different people have different levels of intelligence. Actually, I'm saying you are not the body, you are the spirit soul. That means your body and your spirit are different. Do you appreciate this point? But for Krishna and his body, Krishna, the Supreme Spirit, and his body, they are not different. Krishna's body is also spiritual, he is also spiritual. This is not the case with you and me. My body is not spiritual. My soul is spirit. But Krishna is Supreme Spirit and his body is also Supreme Spirit. So therefore, by the power of his Maya Shakti, Atma Maya, Yog Maya Shakti, he descends in his same spiritual form. Those who have the right consciousness, they can understand. Those who don't, they do not understand. So, Krishna does not want to, like, you must have read somewhere, that's why you are making this statement that Krishna left his body like an ordinary human being. Actually, the Bhagavatam states that he was sitting on the banks of river Saraswati in his four-handed form in the presence of Maitreya Muni and Uddhava. He gave his last teachings to Uddhava and Maitreya Muni and conveyed the message that when Vidura will come, you explain these points to him. And then, in his very same self-spiritual form, he just ascended towards the spiritual world. The demigods were amazed to see his movements. Some of them could understand, some of them could just get some glimpses of how he was moving, and some of them could not even understand what's going on. This is the definition given in Bhagavatam, and he just went back to his eternal abode. However, if Krishna can expand himself into 16,108 forms every day and enter each and every palace of his queens at the same time, simultaneously, without each queen knowing that he is there in the other palace also, do you think it's very difficult for Krishna to do something to bewilder the atheists? No. Even a magician does it. So Krishna's opinion is कि सबका दुकान चलना चाहिए. An atheist is thinking that there is no God. This world is just a result of sex life. I have to just live my life and then die, and everything is void after that. So if Krishna does something because of which their very existence gets challenged and they feel an existential crisis, then one can say Krishna doesn't love the atheists, but Krishna loves the atheists also. So therefore, he did this pastime. He did this pastime of, that hunter coming and although Krishna is a great Kshatriya and he has done great battles, fought with Kaliya, but people are stupid enough to believe that by one arrow, he got so brutally or fatally damaged or hurt that he died after. No, that's not the case. The Mahabharata says actually, yes, that when the entire Yadava clan was destroyed, Krishna and Balram were also, they came back to Dwarka, met Vasudeva, and they also quit their bodies. And then Arjuna could understand that this is just one pastime of the Lord. This is, the Lord wants to do it. Just to keep the atheists happy, that yeah, even Krishna's body was burnt or buried. But the Bhagavatam explains very clearly that that was not the case. Krishna left the material world for the spiritual world in his same spiritual form. But just to bewilder the atheists so that they do not feel any existential crisis, he did this pastime. Otherwise, why will Krishna say, Aham sarvasya prabhavo, mattah sarvam pravartate, iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samandita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. If he was just an ordinary human being, do you think Krishna was drunk to make this kind of statements? This is Maya Shakti of Krishna, for bewildering everybody. When Krishna was entering Kamsa's arena, he gave different experiences to different people. Mallanam ashner nrinam naravaraihi strinam smaro murtiman gopanam. I'm reciting this verse after a long time. Mallanam ashner nrinam naravaraihi strinam smaro murtiman gopanam swajanokshatam shiti bhujam swapitaro shishuhu mrityur bhojapate nrinam mrityur bhojapate nrinam mrityur bhojapate nrinam. I'm forgetting here. Mallanam ashner nrinam naravaraihi strinam smaro murtiman gopanam swajanakshatam shiti bhujam swapitro shishuhu mrityur bhojapate nrinam. I'm forgetting, just forgive me. Rangam Gata Sagrajah. So this verse basically says that different people understood Krishna differently. Mallanam Ashner. So the people who do Mal Yudh, the wrestlers, they saw Krishna as a thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is coming. Mallanam Ashner Nrinam. Mallanam Ashner Nrinam. Strinam Smaro Murtiman. So the ladies, they saw Krishna as Cupid personified. The corrupt leaders, they saw him as the biggest chastiser. The Gopas, they saw him, ye to apna aadmi, Swajana, not somebody special. But the parents of Krishna, they saw him as a small child who is walking. Just see, the Mallas, they are seeing him as thunderbolt. Kamsa, Mrityur Bhojpate. Who is Bhojpati? Kamsa. He saw him as death. So he is walking into the arena with his elder brother Balram. The impersonalists are seeing him as Brahma Jyoti. The yogis are seeing him as the absolute truth. The ladies are seeing him as Cupid personified. The corrupt rulers are seeing him as the supreme chastiser. The Vrishnis are seeing him as the highest worshipable object of their clan. The Gopas are seeing him as Apna Admi, Swajan. And his parents are looking at him as my child. How is he able to walk? And he has just killed Kamsa, about to kill Kamsa, but still Devaki is thinking, how this is just my child. This is Krishna. He gives different experiences to different people. Jinki rahi bhavana jaisi prabhu dekhi tin murat taisi. So Krishna is that kind of a person. Ye yatham mam prapadyante tams tathayavya bhajamyaham. The degree to which one surrenders to Krishna, to that degree he reveals himself. So these atheists, they don't surrender to Krishna. So what will Krishna reveal to them? See what's going on. They will think Krishna is just an ordinary person, taking birth, dying, moving here and there, blah, blah, blah. But Arjuna will never accept this. Arjuna knows what's the truth. Does this answer your question? Okay, so we'll end our discussion here. Thank you very much. Some special announcements. First of all, we had started a parallel kids class today. So the kids have been trained up for doing something. They will come up here in front of everybody and perform something for us. I don't know what they're going to perform. Requesting all the parents and devotees to encourage them. Kids, please. So I think the camera has to be adjusted. When the kids come, it should be facing towards the camera. Kids should come a little quickly, please. So whatever the kids do, we have to encourage. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Do they need a mic? You take this mic there. Switch on कर दीजिएगा. इसमें ये भी लगा हुआ है जो भी speaker. Max. This online mic, so this corner mic, or it can do that side. Yeah. So should I give them the mic in hand? The online mic will not be extended. Both has to go. That's the max. Yeah. Just. You'll have to come little this side. Okay, fast.
Come, quickly. Don't come this side. Come. You come. Come forward. Okay,
Switch on the mic.
check with Hare Krishna, CJ.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept our humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Me and my friends are going to recite chapter 10.8 of Bhagavad-Gita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Matta sarvam pravartate. Matyam sarvas pramupatate. Iti matva bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all the material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows engages in my devotional services and worships me with all their hearts. So let's chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Let's chant it one more time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Thank you. Hare Krishna wale.
So thank you very much. Wonderful job done by the kids. I wish somebody would have taught me this shloka and the translation of this shloka when I was a small kid. It took me 27 years to come across this shloka, but better late than never. So we'll now proceed to the final Aarti. Sorry? Yeah. So as I already said, we have set up a very humble gift shop here where you can purchase books written by Srila Prabhupada, the Bhagavad-Gita, the Krishna book in various languages. We also have some japmalas which you can take away from here so that you can chant Hare Krishna. We also have, I don't know what all we have, but I think we also have some tilaks, so you can put yourself and feel as a devotee of Krishna. And you can also take some Hare Krishna Mahamantra plates, fix it on your door, declare to the whole world, anybody who comes to your door will read it, and simply by reading it, they'll get delivered. Put it in your various rooms. So you can take some gift items which will remind you of Krishna and not make your life a ritual, but make it spiritual. So we can do that. Some more announcements about next week, those who are online and those who are physical here. How many of you were able to do this each one get one devotee in this class? How many of you could get one person today? Whom did you bring? You have to raise your hand and you have to tell. See, you're successful. Each one get one. Whom did you bring? Very good. Thank you. So all those who came for the first time, how was your experience today? Okay, you have brought also one person. Thank you. So that is our motto, each one get one. We are trying to benefit from this knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita, the message of Krishna consciousness. If only we can give it to one more person, then it will be so nice. It is my desire that this entire hall should be full, but there are only few things which I can do sitting from here. But if all of you can help us in spreading this message, every class, each one get one, then maybe in the next coming weeks, we will have many people singing, dancing Hare Krishna and accepting Krishna Prasad. That is our desire. So please continue to do that. My deepest congratulations to all those who have done. And I request all those who haven't done, please do so. Each one get one. Get one person every class. One new person every class. Okay, next week is very special. We are going to celebrate Ram Navami. And we are going to make it very grand. 10th of April is Ram Navami, which is a Sunday. But to get into the mood of Ram Navami, we are doing evening programs both on Saturday as well as Sunday. So Saturday we are going to do a Bhajan Sandhya. The lights will be going a little dim and the Mridanga, Kartals, enough of philosophy. One class simply dedicated to Kirtans, Bhajans and deep meditation in the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Okay? And on Sunday, it is going to be more special because I had promised that we'll do a great feast. So we are going to do something called as Swad Utsav. We are going to tell you more about it. Basically, everyone gets an opportunity to bring some bhoga for Krishna from their home, provided it is free of onion and garlic, and it has been made with cleanliness. And of course, it should be strictly vegetarian. And anybody who wants to take part in this bhoga offering to Krishna should chant 2 rounds or minimum 1 round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra before making. If you can follow these rules and regulations, then you have an opportunity to cook for Krishna, and whatever you bring will be offered here in the temple. Of course, it will be distributed as prasad also. So let's target 64 items. I hope that 64 people, and no repetition. Each item has to be unique. We'll start a registration process where you can block your items first. Doesn't mean that only one person will bring only one item. You can bring 1,000 items also. So we are doing Swadutsav on Ram Navami, but something more special also. We are trying to do a special class on 108 names of Lord Ram. It's also called as Nam Ramayan. We are just planning. If it works out, very good. If it doesn't work out, it will be maybe a normal Ramayan class. But a very nice class, Katha, Kirtan, very nice big style feasting, and some other surprises in store for Ram Navami. So please plan your weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. We want all of you here. All those who are online, and if you are from the same town, same city, please try to come here online physically. Saturday and Sunday next week, we are going to take it to the next level. Okay. Now we move towards the Kirtan, but small announcement. This week's prasadam has been sponsored by Bindu Mataji, and I always get the name of this Prabhuji not correct. Prem Nath, not Prem Kumar. Prem Nath Sukumar Prabhuji and Bal Mahima Mataji. So Prem Nath Sukumar Prabhuji, Bal Mahima Mataji and Bindu Mataji. They have co-sponsored today's prasadam. Let's all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for their spiritual progress. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for providing us nice Krishna prasadam. Anybody who would like to sponsor the prasadam for the Bhajan Sandhya and the Ram Navami Utsav, please approach me. We will assist you. Okay. Now we will go towards the final Aarti. We will be standing. We will be doing Kirtan, and the Aarti will be performed. And after the Aarti, we will go towards prasadam. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
I'll carry the paper. So,
हो जाएगा
हाँ हो जाएगा The camera is shining.
तो चाहे तो सामने में देगा क्या करें actually you don't need to hold that. Start. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Gandharvika Giridhari Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hare Gandharvika Giridhari Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hare Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So we will now go towards Prasadam. Prasadam is being served. Somewhere we have to start offering. Someone is coming to start offering. Always carry one camera. No, but computer program.
यूज करेंगे